Hello everyone, welcome back to some more Singapore true ghost stories. This one is called Fear Itself. Malaysia. My entire flight crew checked into a hotel that's rumoured to be haunted. The moment I entered my room, I felt a strange vibe, but chalked it up to exhaustion. Come bedtime, I slept on the bed closer to the door. I typically keep the TV on when sleeping. It acts as a white noise machine and nightlight. So, I was a little wary when I woke up a few hours later in a silent, dark room. I was facing the door, but I had this feeling something was on the other bed. I switched on the light and turned around. I saw a lady in red, sitting upright on it. I screamed, and the girl's neck moved 360 degrees, screaming along with me. Instantly, I ran out of my room and spent the rest of the trip with another crew member. That's not the weirdest part, though. When I was showering, I noticed a scratch mark on my back that stung a little, like I had been scratched. Red Lady. My office was located right opposite a famous temple at Telok Ayer. It wasn't uncommon to hear keyboards typing away at empty desks or see the printer activated when no one was near it. But nothing spooked me as much as this incident. It was 3 a.m., and a handful of us were preparing for a business pitch in our conference room. As it was dead silent, we heard the sombre humming of a lady before we saw a lady in a red dress floating across the hall and disappearing off into the wall. Needless to say, we all decided it was time to call it a day and go home. Laundry. I just moved into my brand new condo along the East Coast Road. I loaded laundry into the washing machine and left the building for a morning jog. However, when I came home, not only was the washing machine still running, but it had turned 90 degrees around its cubby and was now back to front. I was convinced someone had broken in to play a prank on me, but the CCTV confirmed that nobody has entered or left the building, and mine was the only apartment occupied at that time. The mystery was never solved. The thing is, I found a photo of myself while loading the laundry, and that's impossible because that time my smartphone was on the dining room table. So who took the picture? Singaporean urban legends. The uninvited. We've all heard about old wives' tales, telling us to head straight to the shower after coming home. This means washing away spirits that may have tagged along from otherworldly places. Other variations include washing your feet, especially around the heel, or cleaning your face and feet 3 times and saying a prayer before entering your bedroom. Things get a little serious if you're coming back from a funeral. to ward off the spirits that tag along with you. It is a superstitious belief that you have to drop by a restaurant or a 24-hour store. This is to mislead the spirit so it doesn't follow you home. The evil eye. It's a superstitious belief that black circular marks on a newborn's chin ward off the evil eye. In the past, it was a grave offence to compliment one's newborn, as it meant you were envious of the baby. The mums of those babies would then stamp a huge black circle with coal on these spots to divert the onlooker's attention. Forbidden gifts. Mandarin. The phrase giving a clock sounds the same as attending a funeral. Hence, giving clocks or watches as presents is considered taboo in Chinese culture, as it's a reference to death itself. Another superstition originating from Chinese beliefs, the pronunciation of the word shoes sounds exactly the same as the word evil in Mandarin. That's why it's not advisable to buy a new pair of shoes on the first few days of Lunar New Year. Not to mention, giving someone a pair of shoes is a sign the receiver will step on you. Don't take any chances. Knock, knock. Who's there? There is this local superstition involving an old unholy lady making the rounds in the neighbourhood. It apparently darts around and starts with 3 knocks on the door and the greeting, "Come, come." It appears as an old lady simply selling crackers. The Come Come is said to be a witch obsessed with youth and beauty, so her main agenda is to feast on the blood of virgins for eternal youth. The witch is said to have a Pontiac as a companion. So if you buy her korobok, the consequences will be deadly. Third door. This experience I'm about to share happened when I was serving in the National Service. I was not feeling well that time, and I went on a march through the forests of the Kong. But when it was time to do a head count, our platoon realized we were missing 1 private. One frantic search later, we found his body under a tree. The weird thing is his field pack items were neatly displayed on the mud, while his internal organs were torn out and formed the number 4. A third door was built to serve as a portal to let the spirit get back to its home. The last time we were on the march on that same area, I took a photo of the door and was shocked to see a child, or looked like a child. It's impossible to see a child in this area. So what was it? Haunted apartment. Due to my tight budget, I had to find myself a new, cheaper apartment. With time running out, I didn't have time to be choosy. I looked for a few places, but they were all run down. Hoping to find myself something better, I contacted my friend. She suggested a place in Jurong West. It was located in a pleasant neighbourhood, and I liked the ambience of the area. While waiting for my friend to arrive, an auntie who was watering her plants on the ground floor asked me, "Are you going to rent the room at 4th floor?" I kindly replied, "My friend who is a real estate agent is going to show me the apartment." She stared at me blankly in disbelief. She said the apartment is haunted, and she is worried what might be disturbed and what may disturb me. She continued and said, the window of the bedroom looks straight over Chukang Cemetery. I smiled and replied, it's okay, Auntie. I'm not superstitious, and I will spend most of my time at work. She became a bit agitated and said, you don't understand. The malevolent spirits sense the presence of movement, and they're drawn to the occupant of that room. The spirits are looking for a body to possess. Those spirits can look through the window. I just thanked Auntie for her concerns. My friend then arrived. We then go straight up to the apartment. She apologised to me for being late. I assured her that it was fine. I had a nice chat with the auntie, living at the ground floor. We hurriedly climbed the flights of stairs to the fourth floor. We toured the apartment. I liked the cleanliness and, well, the feel of the place. The flat was even better than my previous apartment. There was one spacious bedroom with a toilet and bathroom. There was a washing machine inside the bathroom. The living room, the dining room, and the kitchen were all one open area. There was a built-in stove, a refrigerator at the kitchen area, and I made up my mind. I accepted the offer. I'm glad that I can move in immediately. Before leaving, I look through the bedroom window. I see the cemetery lay some distance away. It looked peaceful as the sun set and cast a gloomy shadow over the horizon. Such a beautiful scenery. My friend left me with the key and the contract. I thanked her, and we left the flat together. Afterwards, I moved in. I spent the rest of the night unpacking and organising my stuff. Tired for the night, I went to the kitchen and prepared an instant meal. I filled the kettle with water and then put it on the stove. While waiting for it to boil, I sat on the chair at the dining area. From my peripheral vision, I then saw a shadow move from the bedroom door to the living area. Then, there was a sudden drop of temperature at the dining area. I felt my body go icy cold. Then the lights in the living room went on and off. There was unexplained noises inside my bedroom. Then the refrigerator door swung open by itself. The light bulb inside the refrigerator started flickering. I walked towards my room, and at the window I saw two fiery red eyes staring back at me. Then suddenly, there was a lot of human shadows standing near my bedside. One of the shadows moved closer towards me and pushed me down on the bed. I tried to scream, but nothing came out of my mouth. I couldn't move my whole body. The dark shadow was on top of me. I felt its clammy hands just kneading me. I obviously quickly moved out the next day, and I do wish the next tenants good luck. That's horrible. The smartphone. So this is a creepy story on mine. This is obviously the writer. Not my story, it's someone else's story, guys. I bought a smartphone during the ghost month back in 2009. I was a single mother of a 5-year-old boy. After a long day of work, I came home and I placed my phone on the counter. We went to the kitchen to cook our dinner. My son came to me and asked if he could watch YouTube with my phone. I told him not to call anyone or mess with any text messages, and he agreed. So we were eating dinner together while my son was still using the smartphone for YouTube. After we finished our dinner, I brushed my son's teeth and let him continue watching YouTube. I go to the bathroom and take a quick shower. At around 10:30 p.m, I felt drowsy, so I decided to tuck my son into bed to sleep. I walked to our living room and saw my son was not there. I panicked and ran to our bedroom to find him sleeping without my phone in his hand. Relieved to see my son soundly sleeping, I searched our apartment for my phone. I finally found it. It was on the sofa, and I received a text message from a colleague, so I picked it up and inspected it. Browsing through it, I noticed minor changes on my phone. The wallpaper was changed to a creepy woodland area. But when I opened my photos, well, there were photos and videos taken by my son. So I started browsing and deleting them one by one until a picture remained. When I first saw it, I was in disbelief. It was a photo of me. The picture was taken by someone else in the perspective above my eye level. Interesting story. A ghost story. This story is shared by one of my Japanese friends. According to him, there was once a samurai living in poverty. He was summoned to be of service of a shogun in Matsumoto. The samurai eagerly accepted the offer, but abandoned his wife for many years in favour of taking a younger, pretty woman he desired along with him. When his responsibilities to the shogun had finished, the samurai returned to his town and found himself longing for his old wife. He went that night to their old house, where they once lived. It was 3 a.m., and the full autumn moon bathed the house in the night. He found the gate open, so he entered his old home, only to find his much-missed wife, more attractive, and sitting silently by herself. She showed him neither anger nor resentment towards her husband for his ill use of her, but instead offered him warm welcome. The samurai, overcome with emotion, swore to his wife they would live together and only death would do part them. Pleased by the happiness this brought to his wife's face, the samurai embraced her. He slowly undressed her, and he promised he would love her forever. He held her with a warm embrace, feeling her naked body until they fell asleep. The samurai was awoken in the morning by bright morning sun that bathed their house more harshly than the night's autumn moon. To his surprise, he found himself alone, embracing something. Yes, something. It was a decaying corpse. The skull, with flesh like melted plastic clinging to the bones and wrapped with long black hair. Frightened, he leapt to his feet and rushed to the neighbouring house. He asked the neighbour what happened to the woman who lived next door. Her? She was abandoned by her husband long ago. She died of an illness brought on by sorrow. She died this summer because, well, there was no one to care for her, and no one gave her a funeral. Her body is still where she died. Ew, that's really bad. No, I don't like that. I don't like that, guys, at all. The Wraith. My family's always been able to see ghosts, and they were haunted by the paranormal. I hope that I would be an exception. I've never experienced any paranormal things until I was 25 years old, when I moved to Singapore. I am from KL, Malaysia. I rented a cheap apartment. The Spooner Road it was. And, well, this one really creeped me out. I would hear my mum call me, and it sounded exactly like her. It sounded like she was just outside the door. I just thought I might be missing her, so I let it pass. It was my first night at the apartment, and I was sitting at my computer desk. And, to my side, you could clearly see the reflection of the bathroom mirror on the wall. I was busy typing on my laptop when suddenly, in my peripheral vision, I saw a man. The man was not an apparition or a shadow. He was just like you and me, made of flesh and blood. He was fully naked and just sitting on the water closet. He was blankly staring in my direction with his large black glassy eyes. I got so scared that I couldn't move a muscle. There was not even any sound coming from my scream when I tried. I tried to close my eyes, but I couldn't even blink. And when I finally was able to move, I jumped to my bed. I forgot that my blanket was still in my luggage. When I peeked again, it was already gone. The thing that shocked me to this day is that the entity was able to take a picture of me like a scared cat using the camera of my smartphone on the computer table. Cats. Most people think cats do nothing. They're lazy, do nothing but eat and sleep. It is not so. Do you know what a cat's mission is? All cats have power every day to remove the negative energy accumulated in our body. As soon as we fall asleep, they absorb that energy. If there is more than one person in the family and only one cat, it can accumulate an excessive amount of negativity by absorbing energy from so many people. Obviously, when they sleep, the cat releases the negativity it takes away from us. If we are too stressed, they may not have enough time to release it, so they get fat. It is nice to have more than one cat in the house, so the weight is divided between them. They also protect us during the night, so that no unwanted spirits can get inside the house. And that's why they like to sleep in our bed. And if they think we are fine, they won't sleep with us. If you don't have cats, and a stray cat comes into your house and adopts you, well, it's because you do need a cat at that particular time. So the stray cat volunteered to help you. Thank the cat for choosing your house for that job. So don't freak out or frighten the cat, or he may not come back and fulfill his obligation. Cats heal us. They are adorable creatures and they love their owners above all else. But they have a different way of loving us. The legend of Manika Niko, Tammy the Temple Cat, during the start of the Edo period, during the 17th century, in a run-down temple in the western part of Tokyo, there lived a monk who kept a cat named Tama. Master and cat were so close, they communicated instinctively. The monk said repeatedly to his cat Tama, "I keep you, can feed you despite my poverty, and can you not do something for this temple?" One day, returning from an hunting expedition, a feudal lord was caught in a heavy downpour and took shelter from the rain under a big tree in front of the temple. Looking at the temple gates, he noticed that a cat was inviting him to enter the temple. The cat kept waving its paw, and so obviously this intrigued him, and he left the shelter of the tree, ran towards the cat. Almost instantly, the tree that had been sheltering him was struck by lightning. The feudal lord realized that the cat had just saved his life. In gratitude, he became the temple's benefactor, and since that day, the temple prospered. When he died, Tama was buried in the temple grounds, and in his honor, Maniki Nikko was invented. Another story, said to have originated in the 18th century, describes the case of the cat who valiantly saved a famous courtesan. She was well known as a lover of cats, and so she kept her cat by her side at all times. One night, while on her way to the toilet, a cat started pulling the hem of her skirt violently. Though she tried to chase it away, the cat did not stop the disturbance. Terrified by the cat's instant reaction, the courtesan called for help. The owner of the house rushed to her, and in a single swipe of the katana sword cut off the cat's head. The cat's head flew to the ceiling, but then it bit and killed a large venomous snake, hiding there, ready to strike anyone below. Mortified, the courtier mourned deeply over the mistaken death of the cat. To console her, the owner of the house presented her the cat's image carved out of aromatic wood. Many believed the image of the loyal cat was the origin of the Maneki Neko. In the 19th century, towards the end of the Edo period, an old woman who lived in Imado had a pet cat. As she was poor, one day she told the cat, "I'm sorry, I have to abandon you. I can no longer afford to feed you." That night, the cat appeared in her dream and told her, "Tomorrow, gather some clay and fashion my image out of clay. It will surely bring you good luck." The old woman awoke and did as the dream had said. She made the cat's figure in clay and discovered that the cat figurine attracted many buyers. The more the old woman made of the cat's images, well, the more customers visited her, so that eventually she was no longer short on money. The cat's image in clay had relieved her from poverty. Many people say this was the true origin of Maneki Neko. That is so wonderful. We all like cats, and, well, I know a lot of people who like cats anyway. So I think that's a very, very lovely story regarding cats. The story I'm about to share is about my supernatural experiences at Clementi Forest in Singapore. It's a large natural reserve in Singapore, approximately 85 acres of land. I'm a hobbyist photographer. It was a cloudy September when I decided to trek the forest with some of my girlfriends. As I was trekking a steep muddy hill, I suddenly felt a cold arm dragging my feet downwards. I just ignored it and continued walking. Then I suddenly heard music, somber music playing. As we trek, the somber music becomes clearer. It sounds like Mozart's Moonlight Sonata playing. As the music gets louder, we were petrified to see a Ferris wheel in the middle of the forest. We then hear some children laughing around, and there was no one around except us. Well, that's creepy. What do you think, guys? Ghost children? Who knows? It's a very, very strange story indeed. And that, my wonderful friends, is the last of the Singapore true ghost stories. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, many blessings.